Alright guys, so this is Lord Lavenier and we're back for the Lumiere pill and for my channel. So these are the 4 paths that most guys who get into PUA end up in. And I'm just gonna go through everything I've written and break it down. So the first one is the fake path, the imaginary path, not part of our compendium of paths. This is the most popular view. The guys who are obsessed with PUA, they think this is what's gonna happen, and the marketers promote this. There's a huge marketing element. So the idea is you go from zero to hero or superhero. You're a loser. They're selling you a fantasy where you're this loser guy who's never had a date in his life. You don't have many friends. You don't have any friends. No female friends, no male friends. Instead, what happens to you is you take a bunch of courses on PUA and eventually you become a winner. You become, you live in a mansion, you have all these girls around you, you have all this alcohol, fancy champagne, wines, you have all these cars. This is a complete fantasy which rarely happens. Honestly, the reason why I put 0% is because I've never seen it happen and I don't want you guys to have this belief. So did I see a guy who went from zero to hero and I just get laid every day? No, I didn't see it, and it upsets me because a lot of you guys think this is feasible, but I don't believe it's feasible. Not a realistic path. I'm just gonna write it here. And it's done by marketers to sell their products. Oh, he was a total virgin, awkward, extremely. Now he's this massive, he has this skill, this superpower, where he is able to get any girl he wants. Honestly, I just find that whole concept offensive, but you guys have to realize this is the elephant in the room. This is marketing, it's business. It's this, you have to sell the consumers these ideas for them to live in it. So then, what's the first path? And this path is also less visible. I call these guys dropouts. Guys who just get involved in a community and this is what happens to them. So we're just gonna use the name of Jim. It's a reference towards American Pie. I'm a fan of the movie. So you guys can see it. So Jim, he joins a community. He spends 1 or 2 years in the community and on and off, just going to seminars, going to boot camps. Maybe he gets into immersion, though not likely. And he sees no results. And this is gonna upset a lot of guys, but this is what happens to most people who get into the PUA niche. They see no results, they become upset. And what happens, he concludes PUA and seduction are fake. So then he's just well, this is a massive scam, these are guys lying, it's not worth it. He starts denouncing and exposing it, He hangs out with the social justice warrior crowd, the feminist crowd, and he starts saying, oh look, I used to be this radical, quote unquote, who joined the other side, now I'm the good guys, and I'm a social justice, feminist, whatever, person. And this rarely happens. You've seen it also, I noticed a lot of successful people, they're not involved in political activism, they're not these grassroots activists. That seems to be a thing for either college students or people who they just have all this free time to do to push this narrative. I don't know, man, but now that I realize it, it's not that smart, But anyway, so they most likely a lot of these guys will end up in the friend zone. They'll have to mess with girls who have tattoos, pink hair, green hair, they're very masculine in their demeanor. And I don't want to bash them because I don't like bashing people or anything, but from what I've seen, the guys who are dropouts, who I've talked to them, don't seem attracted to these girls. Like they're just doing this for a petty, you know what, like F. But I don't think it happens. Like I haven't seen it, but this just drop out, you know. And we'll just say dropouts for the path one. So then like the path two, the rabbit hole, and this is what the mainstream media focuses on a lot because it's very visible. And one minute, guys. I'm gonna make sure everything so it looks nice and neat. Colors, flavor. Alright, guys. So let's go back. So the rabbit hole, and the media just obsessively focuses on this. So we'll go back to our character, Jim. He joins the community, the years go by, he gets rejection after rejection. He spends a lot of money on seminar, courses, boot camps, immersion. He sees no results. He becomes angry at women. He takes all these pills, you know, red, black pills, except that crimson one because that's like good guys pills. He becomes misogynistic, and then he ends up joining the right-wing groups, you know, like a lot of far-right groups. And he gets deeper and deeper into this toxic philosophy, like conspiracy theories, like all this stuff. Like honestly, I don't read because it's like very misogynistic, very racist, very ignorant, and that's how word I like. So there's like a lot of ignorance in these like echo chambers, and it's just an unfortunate path. And I don't think it happens to everybody, but it does happen to some people. And it's unfortunate that a lot of guys like they just like there's not pulling them out from there because like they're just radicalized. Like they have their own ideas. Like they won't like they won't want to like get out of that. So anyway, there's a lot of ignorance, and it upsets me because I've argued with a lot of them, you know. Like I've told them, hey man, like I don't think this blogger you're following is good. Like he seems very ignorant, he writes very vulgar stuff, like he writes a lot of like very dumb stuff, like why are you following him? And they just get aggressive and they tell me like, oh, you know what, man, like this is the guy I follow, like your writing doesn't resonate with me, like because this guy like I do vibe with him. Like honestly, whatever, man. Like if you like, I stopped feeling empathy for these guys. It's like it's whatever. But anyway, so then this third path, you know, that girlfriend path. So it happened to most of my friends. This is a happy ending, and you should strive for this. And it's less visible, and it only happens for guys who've been in a community for a long time. You know, I have friends who've been in it for like 1, 3, 4 years, and they just realize what's going on. So let's just say Jim, he tries to become a player, it doesn't work out. With all his PUA education though, he realizes, well, wait a minute, like I can become less awkward, you know, like I'm not afraid to like talk to people, not even girls, but just like random people. Like I'm not afraid to express myself. So they still struggle to get success at clubs and bars, and this is what people don't tell you. They think, and I think only Rush has written about this briefly, that he says, well, one time I just got like a girl I was attracted with, and that's what worked, and I just stuck to it. But like they still struggle to get success at clubs and bars, and I met a lot of these guys and I've seen it. However, they can't make friends, you know. Like what happens is like, okay, they might join a club or something, like a reading club, let's say, just for like sake of the example. They make friends and eventually they get a girlfriend through their social circle, most likely, or just through sometimes cool approach, but it's less likely, you know. Like they just become less awkward people. They join the social circle, people think they're normal, and then they just get a girlfriend, you know. Because what is it that has happened is like they started as below average, awkward, and then they became average, like social guy who still gets rejected, but he can get 1 or 2 girls, which leads him to get a girlfriend, you know. So he just becomes a social guy, he's alright, and gets a girlfriend. Like this happened to me, it happens to my friend, but this is not talked about. Why? because it's not as spectacular. You know, it's not what makes the news. But anyway, guys, so I just want to finish fast because there's only 15 minutes per video. So what's the next path? It's becoming a coach. Guys who aren't interested in getting laid, and this is what I found out, like a lot of guys, they're opposite of hobbies. You know, hobbies like getting laid. These guys like money more than girls. So being a coach is more about a business than about getting laid. So Jim, he tries to become a player, doesn't work out. He's covered his PUA, coaches scams people. Jim wants to get on the scam, so he starts coaching himself. After a while, he learns how to trick other students, creates fake infills, focuses on becoming a businessman. So this path is for guys who like aren't really that interested in getting laid. They just want money. Like they think this is like a path to easy money, and they just get involved with it. I would say like 80% of the coaches are this, and 20% of the students end up in this. So most PUA job requires you to interact with guys. 90% of the time, the coach dedicates his time to students and not around women. Most coaches who are coaches see this as a business first and foremost. Some might get a girlfriend, but others are solely focused on the business side. Most of the things that coaches are doing are lies, lie after lie. It upsets me that some people are very gullible and stupid, but honestly, I stop feeling empathy for them to an extent because they just don't learn. So this is what happens with a lot of these guys, like they just get scammed, and what happens to the guys, they just become scammers, and yeah, it's not a pretty path, you know. So path 4 is negative, in my opinion. Path 2 is also negative, so 50%, 75% is negative, and then this 1/4 is positive, you know, like the happy ending is path 3, where like just become a normal guy and you're able to succeed. But anyway, guys, like that 1/4 principle, and I've talked about it a bunch and in other essays, but I haven't released them to the public. But it's this idea, you know, like good things can happen, you know, because eventually like success exists, you know, otherwise we wouldn't have a conception of success. But anyway, guys, so thank you very much. This is what I think happens like most of the time. Like honestly, like at this point, like I met so many people that I'm confident this is what happens. And anyway, this is Lord Lavenier. This is the Lumiere Pill signing off. Let's rock it.